Welcome to the Ask Chris Real Estate Podcast with Chris Phillips from Keller Williams. A successful 20-year veteran in the Middle Tennessee real estate market with over 100 5-star reviews, Chris is known for his knowledge and integrity. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or just curious, his insight will guide you along the way.
Welcome to the Ask Chris Show, where we talk about everything in real estate here in the Nashville area. And today I have a special guest, Dana Womack with State Farm. And we're going to be talking about a hot topic today, Dana, which is insurance. And this has become a big word in the in the real estate world. And we're going to talk why it's such a big issue now. I never thought that this would become an issue. 20 years I've been doing this. And the insurance is always an afterthought. Oh, you got to go call Dana to get your insurance so we can close on this. But now it's not just calling you. It's like, hey, we might have to make sure that we are not going to go over our budget. So let's talk about that. What does that look like?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that go into insurance. As you probably all know, bundling is a big deal. So I know when we have people call us and say, hey, can you quote my home? We definitely want to move those autos over. That lowers that premium. Also want to know the age of the house, the age of the roof, the age of HVAC, electrical, plumbing. All these things matter on your insurance premium.
Yep.
All those things come into play. It's like a little black box. So like on the airplane, we don't really know, what affects what, but it does skew the overall premium. So that's why we ask those questions, or why we call the realtor. We will call the realtor and try to find out some things. We look on Zillow to get the age of the roof, things like that if we need to. But.
And usually I'm panicking, when I'm calling you about an insurance premium, it's because, we found out there's a roof that's been replaced and it has not been replaced, and the seller has pocketed the money, or magically all of a sudden a portion of the property is in a insurance flood zone, or something else, So that's the stuff I'm normally used to, but I'm not used to this oh man, we've got to go up in premium because we got to cover the house because it's worth more than it used to.
Yeah, and we run into a lot that the cost of construction has just gone up. The cost of labor, the cost of materials. When you are looking at a homeowner's replacement cost value, it does not include the lot. So the market, what it sells for and what it insures for are two different things. However, when you are looking at that dwelling replacement cost, you have to include the demolition and the debris removal in the event of, say you have a tornado come through, it knocks part of your house off or ruins part of your house, but not the whole thing. Well, part of that dwelling replacement is that debris removal, and then we have to work within the parameters of the slab or the crawl space, and that adds money to the cost of the reconstruction. So that's a little different too. New build or new construction and reconstruction are two different costs too, because of those factors that go in.
And these are things that buyers are not thinking of. Correct. Because they're just making sure they have enough for the down payment and enough for the closing cost. And then all of a sudden they're hit with the fact of, what do you mean I got to pay whatever X amount of dollars for insurance? That's ridiculous,
Right.
And then we go in and we talk about replacement cost. And not every insurance company has replacement costs.
Correct.
So, and then we talk about age of the roof is important. Not every insurance company is going to insure for a full replacement of the roof.
That's correct.
And those things are important. So older electrical and plumbing stuff, plumbing that's had a lawsuit, the Plex stuff, what do y'all do on those?
Well, we just live with it, to be honest. I mean, technically, when there's an issue, we will pay for that damage. We know there's a lawsuit, and State Farm, for me particularly, I can't speak for other companies, will go in and try to recoup those costs from the manufacturer. But it's just kind of one of those things, we're aware of it, but it doesn't hurt you because you may not know when you purchase the house that that's the plumbing you have. You kind of find that out after the fact.
And one of the things I love about you, Dana, is I'll give you a referral, and you'll say, Chris, I'm just not the best fit for this client. We need to send them somewhere else. And you're willing to send them out to someone else that's going to better service them. And let's talk a little bit about that. Sometimes it just doesn't fit in State Farm's wheelhouse, and it could be something like a house in Florida, right?
Correct. Yeah, Florida is it's unique. due to the hurricane
Right.
and circumstances around that. Insurance is very expensive down
Right.
there, and typically you have to have a flood policy as well.
Right.
And flood insurance is always a separate policy, so
Right.
your homeowners is not going to cover flood. And that is that's a hard market as well. But yeah, like Florida is kind of one of those areas that
It's the Wild Wild West.
it is. And Middle Tennessee, especially because of tornadoes
Right.
and hail damage, there's a lot of unique things going on around those deductibles and those items.
So can you talk a little bit about like what happened in the '09 tornado compared to what would happen now?
Yeah, so we've definitely had a deductible shift because we have had large catastrophe losses over the last, 15 to 20 years. You will see that most companies now require you to have a minimum wind hail deductible of 1%.
Yes.
There are few and far between that go less than that. But now your other peril deductible can still be $1,000, or a
Okay.
percentage. But that wind and hail is what we see mostly in this area. Ways to kind of combat that is, the rating 4 shingle. You do get a discount on your roof when you have a roof replaced if you do the 4 rating shingle.
Okay.
Or at least for State Farm. I cannot speak for other
And
companies.
they call that, is it the 4-tab shingle? Is that what they call it?
No. It's a rating 4. So your roofer will
Okay.
know, and they sign a document saying we installed this. You give it
Okay.
to your insurance company, and there is some with State Farm. I can't speak for other
Okay.
companies, but so if you are getting that roof replaced, like you currently may have a lesser roof than that, but paying for that additional shingle could make it worth your while, the discount you're going to get on your roof. But yeah, we've seen a lot of storms come through. I think like even this week,
Right.
we had Tuesday night had something come through and trees down everywhere. So it definitely happens, and it happens fast, and it happens in large quantities.
And one of the other things that I never even knew existed was LexisNexis. And,
Oh, yeah.
and this is a way for y'all to check to see if there was a claim put in, and then that way you can make sure that claim was repaired. It's kind of a report, kind of a credit report for the house, basically. And I fell into this one hole. We had a seller, and we knew he had replaced the roof, or at least he had said he had replaced it, and then he had done it himself. And he only replaced half of it. So we had to give a credit to the buyer because the new insurance company wasn't going to insure it because the whole thing had been paid for to be replaced.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have known that if his insurance company had spotted that.
Yeah, and now insurance companies tend to work in on the front end, they rarely give you the complete value of the replacement of the roof, because what they want is they give you a depreciated value. Once it's replaced, they give you the recoverable benefit.
Right.
So then they know that you replaced it. And that's how insurance companies kind of keep track of that for themselves, because we've had that happen where we've paid out a roof claim 20 years ago. They file another claim and we're like, hey, they never submitted for the recoverable benefits. Did they actually replace the roof?
Yeah.
Because we're looking at this roof and it's now 40 years old, and claims of like, hey, did they actually do that? So it's kind of a way to protect, consumers and yourself as an insured, that you submit the completion paperwork and that's kept on file for, future owners.
Buyers should always ask those questions with you. And I know you do a great job of educating. I mean, you even educate me, and I've been doing this for 20 years. And it's important to know those things going in. But a lot of times buyers don't know what questions to ask. So do you just go down the list with them and just say, here's the things you look for, here's what we're going to recover for, and just kind of meet them on their level?
Yeah, so we like to do a pretty comprehensive review with clients on any kind of insurance policy, but we're going to look it up on Zillow. We're going to look it up on the tax records. We're going to look all those things up. And we have a tool, most insurance companies do, that estimate the replacement cost. We're then going to go over that with you to make sure that's accurate, because some of that information may be wrong. Like the house may have an addition if it's an older house. There may be an addition and that hasn't been updated somewhere. But we are going to ask, like, hey, how do you know how old the roof is? How many people live there? What do you do in that house? Do you have any business in that house? Do you have, childcare? There's all these kinds of questions, because if you're doing those things and you don't tell your insurance person, you may not be covered for those things later on, because our biggest thing is to replace your home. That's your biggest asset in addition to your income. So we want to also cover that liability piece of like, hey, do you have a pool? Hey, do you have, a trampoline? Do you have play equipment? Do you have kids on your property? Are you conducting business out of your your home?
What kind of dog do you have?
What kind of dog do you have?
Yeah.
Things like that. So when we're asking, it's just to make sure that we're providing you the proper coverage, because what we don't want to do is come claim time or come lawsuit time, we've not done our job in uncovering what you actually need to have insured.
Right.
So,
and since 2020, and you and I had this conversation probably 5 years ago, or probably 4 years ago, I was looking at my value of my house, and then I got a letter from State Farm saying this is how much you're covered for, and I called you and Josh, and I'm like, hey, I don't have enough coverage. We can't build this house back for that.
Right.
Now, the layman person is not going to know that, so it's important to have a yearly review because whether it goes up or down, you need to know, like, hey, I might be over covered or I might be under, and you need to know that, and it changes yearly. Yeah. Unfortunately now.
Right. And I think, we reach out every 12 to 18 months. We reach out to our customers to schedule time. It is completely up to them whether they want to do that or not. But I just like to make myself available, because it's not, insurance isn't glamorous. You don't really love talking to us. So we want to make sure we're making ourselves available to review everything, because it is important come claim time. That's the last place you want to find out you don't have the coverage that you need.
And it is so important. I luckily for me, I didn't have a claim at all for the last 20 years, and I've had a couple, due to storms and stuff. But my agent before you never reached out to me once, never asked. And, maybe that's just not their wheelhouse, but if something would have happened, I would have never known. I didn't know anything.
Yeah. Well, most people don't. It's like, that's why you hire a realtor, because I don't know all the ins and outs of buying a home. It's what we specialize in, and it's what we're passionate about. People may look at us and be like, wow, that's super nerdy. Yeah. But it is something we're passionate about, and we know a lot about, and we love talking about. And I don't ever want to run into somebody and them say, she never reached out to me, she never went over my coverages, she didn't do this. I don't want people to not know what they have, whether it's with me or with another company. I'm happy to review those policies, and I may not know all the ins and outs of other companies, but I'm happy to review those so you feel comfortable with your coverage.
Right. So, normally the mortgage company guy reaches out to you and puts you in touch with that. So buyers, make sure you're reaching out to your insurance companies. That's going to give you the complete picture of what your payment's going to be when you go to buy. And then after you've bought the house and you're living in it, you still need to have those monthly checkups just so you can be safe. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are uninsured out there, and there's a lot of people that are overinsured. And the way to keep avoiding either one of those is to meet with your agent. So Dana, thanks for coming on the show with me. I appreciate it.
Loved it.
Hey, we made it through.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to Ask Chris, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And if you like what you saw here, subscribe to us and like us, and we'll see you next time.
For answers to all your real estate questions, ask Chris at the Phillips Group, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.